Proud of the team in the second half. We just keep getting these grace blessings. God keeps blessing our situation because we have to keep fighting back at home. And we had an opportunity to get back into the game. Second half was pretty good, better than the first with 14 turnovers in the first, only 6 in the second half. Looks awful seeing that 20 and turnovers and 6 assists, but we held them to 53 points, which I'm really proud of. 3 for 16 from 3, and definitely happy to get this victory.
Penny, 2 for you real quick. Bluntly, the first half, how much did that piss you off?
It always pisses me off. I mean, it's my team. It reflects. It's a reflection of me, and I'm going to do a better job of handling things moving forward when it comes to our turnovers.
Second half, the way they closed the game, you guys held Wichita to 4 points. I think like the final was 7-15. Did they show you something with the way they closed the game, or is that simply kind of just doing the bare minimum what's expected of them?
No, they showed me something because it was a tough game. I mean, Wichita was in control of the game, and we found a way to flip it in our favor with that group that was on the floor. And winning close games, I mean, I hate having tough games at home, but winning tough games shows you who you're really working with.
Penny, also up the back of you, talk about doing better in regards to the turnovers. I feel like we've heard you say that a couple times this year already.
No doubt.
What do you do differently to actually make sure that's better?
Yeah, without giving up what we're doing, because I'm sure UAB will be watching this this press conference. I think that it's just getting the guards together and just kind of walking them through some things myself. It's getting embarrassing right now, just being so casual with the basketball.
And then just on PJ Haggerty, obviously he left the court with some blood in his mouth. Do you know what happened there?
Yeah, on the drive, PJ likes to create contact. He got hit, and at the angle, you really couldn't tell. The ref couldn't tell, and didn't get the foul call, and he busted his mouth, busted his lip.
Was it just his lip? No teeth came out or anything like that?
No teeth. Just busted his lip.
When you look at what changed in the second half, what was the conversation at halftime? And other than just not turning it over, what did you feel like was different in the second half?
Yeah, we shared the basketball, and the necessary guys had the basketball in the second half to make the decisions. I haven't seen as many stat sheets where you've got everybody that plays in the game with a turnover or more than this year, and that can't happen. So the second half, we kind of cured that.
Coach, Tyrese Hunter had a pretty good sequence towards the end of the game where he had a steal, then he had a dunk, went back down the court, had another steal, led to you guys' timeout. How did that help you guys close the game, and what do you think about his game overall?
Yeah, no, Tyrese is one of the better defensive guards in the country. We always feel like we have a chance with Tyrese, PJ, and Kobe as our backcourt. And I just know it's a matter of time because of his pride and his toughness that he's going to make a play, and he made 3 big plays in a row.
Penny, at what point or are you there already where you start to get concerned about habits that are being formed now coming back to bite you in March and avoiding building on those habits?
Yeah, it's a concern now because we went into the game today to be smarter, and some of those passes were awful. Like the decision of what we were going to do, no-look passes to people that weren't looking, and had 14 turnovers in a half with 2 assists. That was very embarrassing. So we definitely have to change that. It's now the concern is there.
Coach, we saw with the bench unit, P.J. Carter, another really solid game, but also your use of Dante Harris and Baraka. Obviously, Dante just one run in the first half, and then Baraka came in and really showed some things in his limited run in the second half.
Yep.
Is it going to just kind of be game-by-game feel type of thing for those guys?
It is, but, when we brought Dante in, we brought him in to play with Baraka. And what they were doing tonight, they were very smart. They tried to play one-man zone when Dante came in, and they tried to do the same thing with Baraka, but Baraka made his shot, Dante didn't. And when that happens, we just have to put more pressure on those guys to make a play. You can't take them off the court because they play so hard. And previously, it was for those guys to play together. Recently, it's been one or the other, and it's worked. And I didn't go into the game not trying to play Baraka in the first half, but in the second half, I knew I was going to give him a try, and he came in and did exceptionally well in the minutes that he got.
have you thought about what the next couple of days are going to look like? Like what's the emphasis going to be going into Sunday's game? Is it too short of a turnaround to really do anything like substantial?
I mean, we're not going to do anything physically hard where we're going to be running and sprinting, but we're definitely going to do some mental work and watch a lot of film because what they do is very unique. They switch defenses. They play zone 95% of the game, and you have to be ready for it.
You always talk about you have to defend home court. Are you concerned they came out that flat for a majority of the game at home as opposed to on the road?
Yes, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, but it happens. And as long as you win those games, then you can talk about it and get better. And again, holding Wichita to 53 points, I think they were averaging high 70s, 80s. That's pretty daggone good. So I'm not going to look at everything as a negative. It's just the turnovers are a downer. But 53 points to that team is pretty good.
Penny, I've asked you this before, and I can't remember what you've said, but some of these struggles, whether it be turnovers or defensive rebounding, whatever it may be, how much of that is just kind of psychological with your team versus anything strategic, if that makes sense?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think psychologically they understand that they have to do a job. I think strategically they're doing horrible on how they use their technique. We've worked on 3 or 4 different techniques. We said that teams now are not moving on the flight of the ball. They're moving on the motion of the shot. And if you're a second late on moving on the motion, then that team, that guy's already on the inside and he's boxing you out. So we know that. We just have to have some more awareness and just keep telling ourselves to do what we need to do.
And when it comes to the psychological aspect and motivation, UAB coming in here, preseason favorite, whatever it may be, I know they've had their struggles, but how much are your guys, do you think, are revved up to play that team and, to...
Well, anytime you play a team that's picked first in the league and you're second, and you got a game at home, obviously that's what it's all about. I mean, I played those games when I was in college and in high school and in the NBA, and it's always great to have that first game on your floor, and you know what they're going to be about. They're going to come in, road warrior mentality, physicality, and try to get our crowd out of the game early, and we can't allow that. We can't let that happen. So, yeah, they're very well aware, and we know it's going to be a big game.
It seems like you've been trying for weeks to try to drill this turnover problem out of their heads, and whether it be with the Indian runs or the 17s or the push-ups or whatever else. Why do you think they haven't exactly responded to that the way you may like there?
I think it's just bad habits. They just still have what they had at the teams that they were previously at, how they played the game. Everything that we teach is sometimes it goes out of the window. And it's okay because I know how to keep plugging away and keep pushing, but that's not what we teach. If you watch our practices, we know fundamentally what we need to do, and some guys still have bad habits.
How possible do you think it is to fully eliminate the bad habits from previous stops that you're talking about there?
Yeah, I think moving forward, I feel like I have an idea of what I want to do, and it couldn't be a better time right now than against a really good 1-3-1 trap and zone on what we're going to have to be very sharp. And, it's right on time now. This game is going to help us hopefully protect the ball against UAB, who is way more aggressive than Wichita.